Good morning, church.
Good morning.
This was the hardest sermon, can you hear me, Carol?
Yeah.
That I've had to ever write. I don't cry, I'm not a crier. When you stand inside of the role of a minister, there's certain behaviors you have. And one of the behaviors is to always be in a supportive space for others. So that means you can't, be blubbering when you're trying to work with people and support people. Yesterday, writing this sermon, I just broke down sobbing, and I had to stop. So that meant I had to finish writing it this morning. Okay? So I get a text from Larry, and he's like, "Oh, are you going to email me the reading?" I'm like, "Oh my God, the reading." So I said, okay, how do I tell this story? How do I say to CSL Carlsbad who you've been to me? How do I say to you what's going on with me, where I'm going? I'm going to do it in a story, because that's what I do. I tell stories. You have to help me out this morning, okay? So, it's going to be a call and response. I'm going to tell you a little bit of story, and then you're going to say, "Oh, that's so sad." Let's practice.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Oh, that's so sad. Excellent. Okay. So I'm living my life in Carlsbad, C. Vibrant life, vibrant church community, doing amazing work with teens. And then one day, darkness descends. You know those movies when you're looking at captions in the beginning? It says, "Life was good and then darkness descended." I got a call from my niece in Bermuda. My family's in Bermuda, except my sister who's up north. And she was in a panic. She said, "Oh my God, Jackie," who is my older niece, "she's in England and she's dying. I just got a text that she's in the hospital and she's dying." She was like 42 years old. And I just was like, okay, what do I do? So I got up and I was just standing like in the bathroom, and I heard this voice. It wasn't in my head. It was an audible voice. It was not my voice. It said, "Go get my daughter and take her home." It was my older sister. Wow. She had been dead almost 20 years. Wow. Scared me to death. I was like, "Oh my God, what is that?" Wow. And I said, okay, I'll fly to England. So I flew to England. Didn't know where I was going in England, but that's another story. Flew to England, spent 3 weeks with her, getting her strong enough so that she could get on a plane and fly to Bermuda so that she could make her transition. She had congenital heart failure. She was not going to heal from that, and she had another condition. So I did that, got her situated, got her all set up, and flew back to California. Now, there was a part in there where we didn't say, "That's so sad." I got a call that my niece was dying.
Oh, that's so sad.
I get home, and I'm tired, and I'm like, okay, she's going to get home. I get a call from my aunt in Bermuda. My uncle is dying.
Oh, that's so sad.
Jump on a plane, fly to Bermuda. I beat my niece there. The one that was flying from England to Bermuda, I beat her to Bermuda. Get to Bermuda, I spend a month. She's in the hospital on one wing, he's in the hospital on another wing. So I'm going back and forth, visiting them. And I stayed there long enough just to know I had done everything I could. And they hadn't transitioned, but I knew I did everything I could. So I fly back home. I get a call when I get home from my stepmother. My father had just died. And she says, "Oh, well, if you want to go to his funeral, you have to get here in 3 days because I'm burying him." This was like 4 days before Thanksgiving. So I jumped on a plane, flew to Louisiana, buried my father. I got home. I arrived at the airport on Thanksgiving Eve, and people were coming in for Thanksgiving, and I stood there all alone.
Oh, that's so sad.
The I had worked with for 12 years, who I thought were my closest friends, weren't there. No one was there. So I took a taxi home, and I just felt so low and despondent. So when I got home, there was a message waiting for me from my landlord, who were good friends of mine, saying they had sold the house, and I had 30 days to move. I was being evicted. Darkness had descended on me. I was like, oh my God, what else could happen? So one day I was at Sprouts in Encinitas, and something else happened. My church of 5 years had closed its doors.
Really sad.
Okay, Encinitas, CSL, Celebration Center, had closed its doors. So I had no church home. So I was at Sprouts one day shopping, and I saw one of my former church members there. She said, how are you doing? She should not have asked me that question. So after I given this message, she looked at me, she was like, dang, girl, that sounds like a country western song. I was like, you're right, it does. And we both burst out laughing. And so I hit a beat in the middle of Sprout. My niece died, and then my uncle died, and then my daddy made his transition. I got evicted from the house, and my church closed down. My dog didn't leave because I didn't have a dog. We were laughing hysterically in Sprout. And you know what? I realized in that moment who I was, what I was, and where I was. I'm a divine being, filled with the power of spirit. There is no darkness. There is only light. Everything I went through showed me who I am and the power and the presence that is always around me. In that moment, I was like, all right, guys, let's see what's next. And something occurred. I went to bed that night, and 1 o'clock in the morning, Spirit woke me up. Get online, look for an apartment. I'm tired of get up and look for an apartment. Got online, found an apartment in Carlsbad. Wow. Perfect. My landlord, who had already moved, called me and said, look, I have a good friend. She's at CSL Carlsbad, and she's waiting for you. All you have to do is show up. Wow. Showed up at CSL Carlsbad and was welcomed with total and complete love. That's how God works. When we understand and know who we are, what we are, and where we are. We live in a universe that always gives us everything we need just when we need it. So today I'm talking about get ready so you will be ready. Yes. And when I say get ready so you will be ready, what am I talking about? Be ready for what? Be ready to receive your blessings. I was told by a woman once, and she said, nobody can take your blessings, but you can give them away. You give away your blessings by not being ready to receive them. See, we treat and we vision and we go through all of this, and then we just sit out. We don't put feet to our prayers. We don't treat and then move our feet. There's a lot of people, not us in this room, but they beg God to do things for them. And they're sitting there and they're begging God. We understand and we know that when we put manifestation out in the universe goes to work. It's not on our timeline. It does. 5 years for me is like that for the universe. So what we do is we begin to get ready. So I want to say to you that I made a decision 5 years ago that I wanted to move. I wanted to be closer to family. And so I just started getting ready. I didn't tell anybody I was moving. I didn't look for an apartment. I just started getting ready. I purged my house. I am embarrassed to say I took out 15 bags of clothing out of a one-bedroom house. I'm embarrassed to say that. And gave it away. I went into my storage and cleaned it out. And packed up everything in there so that when the movers showed up, all they had to do was remove the boxes and put them on the trucks. That was 5 years ago. go. Then I just went on about my life because I had already put it out there in the universe. I wanted to move to be closer to family. And so when I visited my sister in August, she just was like, oh, you know, they just built this brand new building down the street for seniors, and I know you don't want to move. And I'm like, yeah, I do. You know, I went over, I looked at the building, it was almost finished. I went in the back and I pointed and I said, that apartment right there on the 4th floor, that's mine. I named it, I claimed it, it's mine. Went online, filled out an inquiry, and let it go. That was in August. I didn't hear anything in September, didn't hear anything in October. Walked into the house in November, that voice. Call those people right now.
Yeah.
Call them. Yeah, we have your inquiry online and we're filling up the units now. If you want to move in, you have to move in by the end of January. I'm like, okay, I can do this. Filled out the application, and my sister, she's so cool. She went over to the place and she handed the man a deposit check. He was like, but she hasn't filled out her application. She's like, take this check. Take this check. So he had my deposit before I even filled out application. We knew I was moving. And my sister is not inside this philosophy. But she named it. She's like, oh, you moving there. You know. So when I did talk to him, and I said, oh, you know, I want an apartment on the 4th floor. He's like, okay. You can have it. He said, wait, let me run up there and look. So he ran up there. There's 179 units in this building. He ran up there and he came back. He said, okay, I found your unit. It's 434. It's right where I pointed to.
Wow.
Because I can see it online. So get ready so you can be ready. So then I'm like, okay, so now I need a mover. So my good friend Dee, I'm telling her, I'm like, you know, I'm going to be moving. She's like, I know a mover. And, you know, he manages the property at Seaside, CSL. I was like, what? I called it. That's my mover.
Wow.
So everything lines up. And it lines up. All we have to do is get ready so that we can be ready. So when that word came through, I'm ready. I am ready. And I started getting ready 5 years ago. So, what is it that we have to do to actually help us to get in that mindset? Because it's all about mind. It's all about mind. One is about faith. To cultivate faith. How do you cultivate faith? Faith means that you have to walk by faith and not by sight. Mm-hmm. Okay, another story. You don't have to say anything. This story. I'm studying in Africa. I'm just under this amazing man, Brother Ishmael Tete. He takes me up into the mountains in Ghana for a retreat. And they have this botanical garden up there. And it's beautiful trees from all over the world. Big giant trees, you know, trunks bigger than my body. All over the place. And he says, I'm going to have you walk through here. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I'm going to blindfold you. I'm like, no, that's not cool. You're going to walk by faith. No, we're not going to do that. He said, blindfold her. So he said, and I'm like, and he's like, no, put your arms down. And I knew to keep him down because he would tie my arms down. Okay? I know who this man is. So I'm like, oh my God, this man's going to run me into a tree. I know I'm going to run into a tree. I mean, trees everywhere. There's no path. The trees are just haphazardly, they just grew up. He says, listen to my voice. That's all you have to do. When I say stop, stop. When I say walk, walk. When I say turn left, turn left. That's all you have to do. This place is like 2 football fields. That's how big it is. And I start walking like, he's like, no, walk, walk. Walk, walk. I'm like, okay. I start walking. Stop. I stop. Turn around. I walked. After a few minutes, something happened. I let go. I let go. And I was like not concerned about being walked into a tree. I let go. And I just got filled with this amazing energy that I just felt so good. I was walking, yeah! You know, and I walked, and he said, okay, now stop. When I stopped, I was all the way on the other side of Aborted Gardens.
Wow.
That's walking by faith.
Wow.
That is walking by faith. Now, do I do that every day? Absolutely not. But I can remind myself. I can remind myself. So the second thing we need to understand is that everything is in divine right order. Divine right order. Some of you heard my story about going to Africa and having everything set up, and then it all fell apart, and then I had to wait for 2 years. And I just kept telling everybody, I'm moving to Africa, I'm moving to Africa, and they thought I was crazy. Even my boss is working like, look, we gave you a leave of absence 2 years ago. You know, like, what's up with you? I'm going to Africa, but when? I don't know, but I'm going. And sure enough, I stepped into Oakland, CSL. Reverend Eloise was talking about this man named Brother Ishmael Tete from Ghana, that Michael Beckwith had gone to Ghana and met and brought to California. I'm like, oh, come on now, look how this all is hooking up. I wasn't even going to CSL. The first day I stepped into CSL Oakland was the day Reverend Eloise was talking about Brother Ishmael Tete, who Michael Beckwith had gone to Ghana and found and brought back to the United States, California. Come on, man. That's divine right order. And so I went and I lived in Africa for 2 years. So we have to remember and understand everything is in divine right order. So when you put your blessing out there, get busy, get ready for it. Act as if it's already here. Don't worry about, oh my God, how is it going to come? Where is it going to come? Where is it going to come? Don't do that. Put it out there and then begin to get ready for it because it's coming. And it's going to be way more than you can even think about. Way more than you can even imagine, because our minds are this big as opposed to universal intelligence. How big is universal intelligence? Yes. We can't even understand that. So no matter what's going on, if it's your health, speak what it is, what you want to happen with your health, and then get busy. Put some feet to those prayers. Jan has all of us, a group of us, every Saturday doing the power of 8 for her at noon. At noon, we stop and we manifest for her health. Wealth. Come on, you guys. All of us at times have stuff going on with our wealth. I went from being totally, completely financially fine to darkness descended upon me. I totally did that. So I was like, okay, you know, money is just energy. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to try to figure out how it's going to come. Everything's in divine right order. So, my husband, I am a wife waiting for her husband to show up. Okay? I've been waiting 10 years for him to show up. 10 years is nothing in the universal time. If you see him and he's like, you see this woman named Ahmondra, she just moved up north. Send him up there to me. I know this man is showing up. I know he's showing up. I just need to get ready. So maybe me being up north, maybe it's up there. I don't know. I just know I need to get ready. Don't worry about the time. I know I'm not looking for them online. I tell my friends, stay off of line. Don't go online trying to find something. Just tell God what you want, and it will show up. So tomorrow, we are celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. Dr. Martin Luther King knew about faith, didn't he? Yes. Didn't he know about faith?
Yes.
In a jail cell, he's writing letters, writing books. You know, he knew about divine right order. He told us. He said, "You know what? I had a dream, you guys, that this is what's going to happen. I may not be there." He knew that it didn't have to happen in his lifetime, but he knew that one day divine right order was going to have everything show up and be in harmony. And we need to know that. We need to stop sending these messages out to each other about the enemy, and we need to stop that and understand and know everything is in divine right order. Get busy doing your work. Each of us has our own work to do. If you do your work, then you're part of the plan. You're part of everything that's going to bring this world where God is bringing it to. Peace, harmony. It may not come in our lifetime. That's okay. That's okay. Just do our work. Do our part. And be happy. So as I leave you here today, I just asked you the question.
That's so sad.
Oh, no, it's not. I'm going to tell you why it's not sad. I am stepping back into CSL in Oakland, and it's building itself back up. It had gone through some situations, and it went down, and it's building itself back up. So I know there's a reason why I'm being sent up there at this particular time. And I believe it's to put my energy back into Oakland CSL. Who knows? Maybe not. But thank you. So ask yourself this question. What do you want? You have to get clear about what you want before you can have it. And after you get clear about what you want, then get busy acting as if you already have it. And guess what? It will materialize way more than you could ever imagine. So today I leave you with this last story. A good friend of mine, she's not here today, so I told her I was going to talk about it. Maybe that's why she didn't show up. But anyway, she's a magnificent chef, right? And she was this corporate leader. I mean, high up in the corporate ladder. She got really, really sick. And she had to stop working. And she was like, I don't think I'm going to go back to the corporate world because I really want to cook. I really want to cook. And she wrote a book and she's doing all this stuff. And so on the one side, she's like, well, I need to go back to work. I need to get some money. But on the other side, she was like, I want to be a chef. I want to be a chef. So she put more energy in being a chef than corporate world. And so the other day, for Christmas, her husband gave her these knives by a female chef. There's never been a female chef who had her own set of knives. And she was like, oh my God, I got these knives. And he said, one day you're going to have your own knives. Make a long story short, she got a call the other day from the woman who had these knives. And the woman said, you put a resume in, I'm opening a new restaurant over in Sanitas. Come on in. I just happened to text her in that second to say just how you doing. She's like, can you call me? I called her. And she told me, I said, call me and tell me when you get the job, because I know you're going to get it. And she's like, but I'm like, leave all that out. Leave all that. But she called me back. I got the job. I said, of course you got the job. You put it out there, and the universe gave you exactly what it is you put out there. So today, name it, claim it, put some feet to those prayers. Treat and then move your feet.
Yeah.
Get ready so that you can be ready. And for the ladies in the house, and this is the journal. We raised enough money to buy 200 journals over the holidays. And we gave them out. I sent 25 journals to New York City, to the women's prison.
Wow.
And I say to you, if you don't have a journal, get your journal.
Yeah.
I have some here today. Because every day you get to write down 5 things you appreciate about yourself. That's getting ready. Getting ready means you recognize who you are. If you don't tell yourself every single day who you are, guess what? You won't know. And you'll give those blessings away.
Oh, that's so sad.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry I don't have a journal for you, but you can write down 5 things you appreciate about yourself also. I am not leaving permanently. I am only relocating to the Bay Area. I definitely will be back. I am definitely still a part of CSL Carlsbad. I will always be. Thank you, CSL Carlsbad, for being the first half of that last chapter of my life. Thank you for sending me off today to step into the next chapter of my life. I am so blessed to have known each and every one of you and to continue to know you. And I just say, thank you, God, that I made it through the sermon without crying. Ahmondra.